Hello everyone and welcome in the Trench Pigrim Warband video. The Trench Pilgrims have 3 sub-warband, the Procession of the Sacred Affliction, the War Pilgrimage of St. Methodius, and the Cavalcade of the 10th Plague. As units, you can have the War Prophet as Warband leader, Communicant and Castigator as elite, Trench Pigrim, Stigmatignan, Ecclesiastic Prisoner and Anchorite Shrine as regular unit. And for mercenaries, you can have the Sister of Saint Cosmas, which is technically the Combat Medic, Communicant Anti-Tank Hunter, Scripture Guardian, Observer, and the Ammo Monk, and the Trench Dog is only an equipment unit. The Trench Pilgrims are the melee-focused church faction, so most of the units are focused more on melee than range combat, and it's also reflected on their profile. The War Prophet or Warband leader is the classic +2/+2, can use any weapon and equipment, and has free action, the loudspeakers, which is a +2 dice for the dice pool, and if it's successful within 8 inch, all of your friendly unit can move 3 inch towards the closest unit they can see, or if they don't see any enemy, they can move to any direction. The laying on of hands is a healing ability, and you make a roll, and if it's successful within 6 inch, you can remove 1 blood marker, and if it's a critical success, you can remove 3. And you can use it even on the War Prophet as well. And the Memento Mori is an extra life, and the War Prophet doesn't have tough keyword, but because of that, the first out-of-action result is not counts for him. The Communicant is another tough unit, or a tough unit as an elite, and it can use anything, but because of the -3 dice on the range combat, it's better for melee combat. And it has the bodyguard keyword, which is within 1 inch of an attack which is targeting another unit. You can take the hit with the Communicant instead. And it also has a Communicant cross in its profile, which is a headgear and a gas mask combined, and wearing that. And it has a regenerate keyword, or regenerate 1, and each turn the first time it's activated, you remove 1 blood marker from the unit, and that's very useful. The Castigator is a regular +1/+1 elite. For +5 ducat you can give it the strong keyword. With the Enforce Orthodoxy, you make a risky roll with +1 dice, and if you are successful, all your units that is down within 8 inch stands up for free. That can be very useful, to be honest. And the Whip of God, with that you can make a melee attack even on friendly unit, and if you do that and kill the unit, make it out of action, you get a d6 set aside, and you use it as a bonus the first time you need to make a morale roll. To be honest, I'm not sure this is worth it, but this can be a funny option in probably very specific cases. The Trench Pilgrims are your regular units, and for 5 ducat you can give one of them the strong keyword, and it will be on a bit bigger base in exchange. But as a very interesting extra for them, when they die after the match in post-injury phase, for 45 ducat you can resurrect them, and it also receives the -1 injury dice for the injury rolls against it. And as a result of the resurrection, it also gets +1 dice on the melee attack. So it became a better Trench Pilgrim, but it's important that whenever it happens, you need to have the 45 ducat. If you don't have it, the unit dies permanently. The Stigmatignan is also a +1/+1 dice unit, but it can have only automatic pistols, and grenades as weapons for ranged attack, otherwise it can use anything. And it has the Agile keyword, or ability, which is giving +1 dice for the climbs, jumps, diving charges, and dash actions. It has a regular regenerate 1, but it has the Blessed Stigmata ability, which says whenever you remove 1 blood marker from the unit, you can place 1 blessing marker next to the none. So it's technically removing, but also converting the marker at the same time, and I think it's a very useful and powerful ability as an extra. The Ecclesiastic Prisoners are your cannon fodders technically. They cannot have anything beside the Martyrdom device, but only 4 of them can have it. And with the awaited ability, if the prisoner dies because of the Martyrdom device, it doesn't count as a unit taken out for a morale check. With the Feeble Flailing, You can make a melee attack even though you don't have a melee weapon, but you have -1 dice on the attack. And the mad dash is giving +1 dice for the dash actions. And the martyrdom device itself is an action. You trigger the device, and within 3 inch you make injury roll for every unit, including friendly units. The prisoner is receiving 4d6 damage added together. Any unit within 1 inch, so technically which is in melee combat with it, gets +1 dice on the injury roll, and everyone else is rolling for a regular injury roll. And after the unit somehow survives the attack, at the end of the match you need to buy a new device for it or using it without it. And the Anchorite Shrine is your real big guy in this warband. It also has tough keyword. It has the Bonebreaker mace and the Catherine wheel as a weapon, but it cannot have anything else as an equipment. So it has a -3 built-in armor because of that. And the mace is a normal melee weapon with +1 injuries dice and risky keyword. The Catherine wheel is a +1 dice, heavy, risky and deadly keyword, so it means whenever you make an injury roll, you make it with 3d6 and add it together like for bloodbath. But broken on the wheel rule, at the beginning of the game you can technically kill one of your Trench Pigrim or prisoner and put it on the wheel. And as long as this unit is alive, every attack is first attacking that unit, not the shrine. And for the unit on the wheel, you don't have any modifier or whatever, so not you but your opponent is making a flat injury roll. And if the result is 9+, the unit dies, and after that he can start hitting the Anchorite itself with any attack he makes. So it's kind of not damage boost, but a damage absorption boost for the shrine, so it makes it more tankier. With the Symphony of Slaughter, you can either make a melee attack with one of the melee weapons or with both, but the second attack or the offhand attack needs to be the Bonebreaker mace. So in that case, the Catherine wheel is your melee attack all the time. As ranged weapons, you have the punt gun, technically, which is unique for Trench Pigrims. And the punt gun is, so you need to either use it normally, or it can make an overcharged attack, but only if it has the strong keyword, or if it's in contact with another friendly model. In that case, the attack gets the +3 and reload keywords, and also the unit using the weapon receives a blood marker. For melee weapons, there is 2, let's say, unique one. The first one is the anti-tank hammer, and the unit using it also receives a blood marker if it's a successful attack, but in exchange it has a +1 injury dice and an ignore armor keyword on the weapon, beside the critical and risky. So I think it's a quite good exchange for ignore armor anti-armor attack. And the Flare Scourge melee weapon, if you use it as a main melee attack, not an offhand one, it receives +1 dice for the hit roll. As grenade, you have the Incendiary Grenade, and as a, let's say, unique one, you have the Molotov Cocktail and Warcross. The Molotov Cocktail is, let's say, a worse Incendiary Grenade, and it also has the -1 injury dice, assault, fire, and the usual ignore cover and ignore long range. And of course, if the attack is a critical success, it's ignoring armor. And the Warcross is technically a grenade but without any blast keyword, so it only has the assault and the ignore long range keyword. For shields, there is the Holy Icon shield, which is having the impervious keyword, and this means it cannot be ignored with any ignore armor or armor piercing weapon. So the -1 injury modifier stays whatever happens. For armor, there is no unique one, so only the standard and reinforced armor. At equipment, there is the Iron Capirote and the Martyrdom Pill, which is kind of unique. And the Iron Capirote is a headgear, and it negates fear and shrapnel keywords, so it's very good on your regular units or on anyone else. And the Martyrdom Pill is maybe what keeps your melee units alive for the longest, as it's a consumable item, but whichever unit taking it as a vitamin C gets the negate fear keyword and the -1 injury dice for the entire game, so it's much harder to kill that unit in melee, or generally. For glory items, there is only 3, which is unique for the Trench Pigrims: the Donkey's Jawbone, the Holy Grenade, and the Horn of Joshua. And the Donkey's Jawbone is very straightforward, as it's giving +2 for the injury dice roll. The Holy Hand Grenade, or Holy Grenade, is an assault and blast 2 keyword grenade, but as an extra it's giving +1 injury dice against any black rare or demonic keyword enemy unit. And the Horn of Joshua is a very interesting one. It's a once per game and you make a roll with +1 dice, and if you are successful you can technically destroy one terrain piece which is maximum 8 inch by 8 inch, and any unit that was on that terrain piece falls to the ground, and the falling damage also applies if they are falling from higher than the usual fringe. For promotions, again, there is very limited options for the Trench Pilgrims, as you can have either the Stigmatic Nuns or the Trench Pilgrims as a candidate and the Mercenaries. So in this case I would say your main candidates are the Stigmatic Nuns and the Mercenaries, and secondary are the Trench Pilgrims. So that's it. They are more melee focused as ranged, as I mentioned, and on the unit profiles you can see that most of them has some very weird minus or ability that's more preferable for melee combat. And the regenerate ability on the Communicant and Stigmatic Nuns are very good one, but also don't forget that the Stigmatic Nun one is also converting the blood marker into a blessing marker, and that's also very huge in my opinion. The rest of the Warband are, let's say, kind of typical in some way. They have their own little tricks and abilities as an extra, such as the mass activation by the War Prophet, or the mass raising or standing up your units with the Castigator, and also your very tanky Shrine Anchorite. So you can decide which way you want to build your Warband, and this can make a little difference for them or for you during the games, but definitely it's very impactful in a way that you are going to fight in melee most of the time with all your units, or understand it as you're going to make most of your meaningful actions in melee, not in ranged attack. So you need to take this one into consideration for sure. I almost started with them actually, but in the last moment I switched side for the Sultanate, and I'm still not sure it was a good decision, but I definitely enjoyed the Sultanate as well. And I see the crazy way in the Trench Pilgrims as well. And for me the two units I really liked when I was looking at them was the Stigmatic Nun and the regular Trench Pilgrim. And the usual request, if you play them, what's your favorite tactic with the regular Trench Pilgrims, and if you have any favorite loadout for any of the units, comment it. Otherwise, thank you for listening and watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.